Capito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank all of you for being here today. While we know that the Army Corps' critical mission is flood control and navigation, I do think that one of the sources of concern that I have in this nation is the access to clean drinking water. Numerous reports and studies detail that our nation's drinking water and wastewater needs, particularly those are stemming from aging infrastructure. In West Virginia, we had one report from a local newspaper that said that our state's water systems lose about 75% of their water in their in their water systems. And this is an untenable situation. I think the Army Corps can play an important role here through their environmental infrastructure authorities, which can provide assistance for these water and wastewater projects. So this is a little off of the waterways, but I think it's critically important, obviously, to all of us. So, Mr. O'Toole, I'd like to ask you, in your testimony, you say that water is the lifeblood of our nation, and I've heard some of your testimony saying that storage and rather than just running it off, keeping it is a valuable resource. Of course, over in my state of West Virginia, we have abundant water. We'd like to pipe it out to California and make a lot of money off of it, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. So anyway, you're a former state legislator. You've probably experienced this area of local communities trying to contend and keep their wastewater and water projects current. How do you see this developing over time, and where do you think that WRDA and the Corps might be able to be helpful with their expertise in this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. And I can speak more clearly about personal things that we've seen in our community. We have a watershed that over 30 years has had a vision. For example, we turned a desert tributary into a wetland that went from 29 species to 140 species of birds. And the thing that's interesting about that, and the river restoration, the integration of irrigation and fishery that we're working on, the people that are on the land doing those projects are the people in our community who are oil and gas people with the equipment. Mm-hmm. And what we've been able to do is integrate through using both USDA and Interior, and I think it's really important to understand how those two agencies can benefit each other, both in terms of leveraging dollars and in sort of the philosophy of maintaining agriculture and clean water at the same time. What we've seen is by bringing in the community people with the equipment, we've created an economic development boom for them. And so in the oil field in Wyoming, there's a lot of periods of time where you cannot drill because of endangered species or other stipulations. This becomes another piece of the economic development puzzle for those people to stay in business with their equipment. The other thing that we've done that I think is important, our conservation district measures every tributary in our entire system. And there's a lot of people that feel maybe knowledge isn't the best thing to have. We feel like knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And our family has had consistently the cleanest system in a watershed. We are so proud of that. Mm-hmm. But it's because we understood that there's things that you can do. We've done some amazing stuff on our riparian areas without any negative to our agricultural production at all, because we have enough knowledge to realize that timing of grazing and how we utilize our lands has an immediate effect on water quality. Right.
So weaving the balance of the economy, environment, or what you're seeing the results of in your state. I'm going to switch to another topic. We have a lot of locks and dams going on the Ohio River. I just went with Colonel Evers to see the dewatering of the Robert C. Byrd locks. Very exciting. But you don't get an idea of how massive these projects are until you go all the way down in a dewatered lock and look up and see at the massive opening and closings and how expensive this are and how important it is to maintain the infrastructure that we have and then to modernize what we don't have. I was very pleased that the Lower Mon project has been fully funded in the budget. These are some of them 100-year projects and very important to us. So Mr. Sanders, in your testimony, you highlight both the issues with pre-construction and construction phases. How do you weave that in with balancing that with the maintenance issue that I saw when I was at the Robert C. Byrd locks on the Ohio in terms of being able to maintain our water system and keep it viable for the economics that particularly in the Ohio River for my state is absolutely critical for things like coal, chemicals, grains, and other things.
Sure. I mean, as you very well stated, I mean, the locks and the communities cannot survive without the commerce being able to easily go through those dams.
Right.
And we're being able to, that's critically important to have that consistent, and we've got to have a consistent funding stream that is not, related to just this Victoria Bend thing that I brought up a second ago. We just got through 9 months of flooding where barges were restricted. Commerce coming from your area down the Ohio to New Orleans was restricted. The water finally goes down, and we have the ability to move that efficiently on the Mississippi River. And here we are sitting behind, dredging areas that need to be dredged, and traffic is stopped again. It's devastating. I mean, it really is devastating to the economy. And so when the water's right, when the projects can go, we've got to be able, and I'll say it again, move dirt. I mean, the money has got to be there. It's too critical. The cost is too great. From a global competitive standpoint. And I mean, from the environmental side, the clean water side, there's nothing better than for the environment than moving commerce in barges. It's the cleanest way of moving commerce that we have. And so we got to keep the funding consistent.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.